Very happy Monday. Welcome to Life by Design, your place online for ideas, inspiration, and of course, how to stay in the right action. So big shout out to all my friends in the Washington, D.C. area. Last week we were there doing a Thrive event, and one of the conversations that was brought up was, yes, the market's at a frenzied pace, and we were having agents there that were having huge breakthroughs in their business, obviously. The challenge, though, was they've lost a few listings that they should have received, and usually it was a pricing issue. You know, someone else offered more or less commission. So I thought what we would do this week is we'd have some conversations around options for you to price better, to market better, and to talk about commission more effectively for you to win more. So here's the first thing to consider. When sitting down with a seller today, why not give them multiple options in terms of pricing? Multiple options, not just the MLS, not just the comps, not maybe just a comps plus a little appreciation, but give them options so you stand out amongst the crowd. So maybe the dialogue goes something like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we have three options to choose from. Let's look at the pros and cons of the three pricing options together. Number one, we list as high as possible, in many cases above the comps, in every case, above the comps, and then we talk about the cons, we talk about the pros. One of the cons might be, you know, if you've got and I'm just making up numbers, a $500,000 house, and we list it at $575,000, right? We know inside the MLS they're going by $50,000 increments, so we're going actually 2 increments above. What's the disadvantage, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? You're now competing against perhaps bigger homes, nicer homes, better upgrades, larger lot size. And what happens is they see your price and they think you're in the hunt, then they do their research and they realize you're definitely not in the hunt. So, we talk about the cons of that pricing strategy. Versus option number 2, we list at market value, which, everybody knows market value, and we say, look, I could line up 1,000 agents outside your door tonight, and every one of us is looking at the same MLS. We're looking at the same data points. So plus or minus 1 or 2 basis points, we're all going to see the same exact price. And buyers today are so much more savvy than they've ever been. They have so much more access to research and data than they ever have. They're also going to see it. So let's talk about the pros and cons of listing it right at fair market value. Then we offer a third option. We say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what about pricing the home to create an auction-like frenzy? And you say, for example, especially if you're in the higher end, Christie's is doing an auction. Let's say they've got a Picasso that they know is going to sell for $25 million. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, where do you think they start that auction? They're going to start that auction somewhere around $1.5 million. Why? They know it's going to sell for $25 million, but they want to create as much of a buying frenzy as possible to hopefully get this at an unbelievable deal. And what happens? Everybody starts bidding and the frenzy begins, and in many cases that $15 million painting ends up selling for $15.5 million or even $16 million because of the hunt of the bid, because of the frenzy that's created. So my question for you, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, where should we list your home tonight? Where do we think we're going to have the best possible route to get you as much money as possible? Listing high and potentially being outside of the range and having people see your house is smaller, the lot not as big, etc. Listing at fair market value, which everybody's going to see, and that'll create a certain amount of activity and a certain amount of buzz. Or do you think we want to price it to create that auction-like frenzy? Which is better for you? Now, this is just a simple little example. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to lose a listing because somebody outpriced you. I want you to be the knowledge broker, you to be the educator that gives your customers options, and you could speak intelligently to all three of them, the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages, so you're empowering them to sell for the highest possible price, and you're separating yourself from the competition because you're standing out and looking different because you've got more than just one pricing option. Now, this week we're going to cover a couple of these. A link here down below to one of the great agents in North America, Randy Ora. His entire listing presentation, I'm making it available for you to watch over the next couple weeks so you can borrow from, see what he's doing, listen to his language. He's a phenomenal agent, a phenomenal presenter. Take the time to watch that sometime over the next week or so. Now, that's it. Remember always, your strategy matters, and now more than ever, your pricing strategy really rules.